Testing.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello?
20 seconds worth of delay.
Yay!
Yes, they can hear us. Okay.
Start
So
again.
rewind. Greetings, Earthbound Travelers, by Garth Dokeen's Sacred Taint. It is Friday, so that's time for Cast Guidance. But before we start that, I have one thing to say. Fuck you, Supreme Court. Yeah, I said it. People, get out, vote, contact your congressmen, your senators, let your voice be heard. The government works for us. They do not control us. So let your voice be heard. There, now that I got that off my chest. This is Friday. This is Will the Dice Presents Cast Guidance, and I'm Tier the DM, the world's okayest DM. I have with me, as always, the unruly one, Locke Clark. Hi, Locke.
What's up?
And Raph the Mad. What's up, Raph?
Greetings, gamers.
So before we get started on today's episode, we do have a couple announcements to make. First and foremost, we offer mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, we have a public Discord now. So you can come hang out with us during the week. You don't have to wait to come hang out with us here. And you can find that at bit.ly/WOT Discord. So go hang out with us. Come join the Cashmere Rose. Have some Malcolm's Mead. Get your groove on. You know what I'm saying? All right, Dice Lock.
Hi, gamers. I'm still Locke Clark, and I am here to talk to you today about Level Up Dice. Find purveyors of luxury dice for all your sexy dice needs. And, I really wanted to find some cool Pride dice, but then I opened their main page, and you guys might remember me talking about this thing that they've been putting up on their TikTok feed. That was really awesome. Well, it is now on the main page at Level Up Dice, available for pre-order, the Gaming Attaché. You can get it is a wooden construction thing that hinges out. There's an internal structure that is called I guess that's called the parapet. And it comes with several different of their glyphic designs carved into it, and you can get it with different color backings. And the parapet opens up, and it's got a castle thing inside it that is a wooden thing that you can put a dice vault in. You can put 16 different things in it if you wanted. Some of them are just flat pieces that slide in. You can put 16 of those, or you can put in one big dice tower, or you can put a thing that holds your dice or your snacks. You want to put some little candies in there, your mini figs, whatever. You can put little flat pieces in that have like custom things on them, and they have plexiglass over them, so you can write on them with a dry erase marker. You can have your weapon with all of its bonuses and things, and its damage right on it that you can just pull out and set in front of you like a little card that tells you. The inside of the parapet, when it opens up, it can be like a DM tower. Or a DM screen. It can also have, you can have stats that a DM might need on it, or you can have custom little character sheets. They're thin, but they make them. You can download them from the site and print them and put them in, and they are really fucking awesome. These gaming attachés. It's an all-in-one product that you can carry with you. There's even a little like blooming dice thing that opens up like petals that you can put your dice in that clips to the top of the whole thing if you don't want to put your dice inside it. They are awesome. Go and check those out. See about pre-ordering one for yourself if you are so inclined. Also, we would like to thank the musicians. Oh, I should probably give you our link. I should probably do that because I completely forgot. I'm sorry. I am with Tier, and I am totally livid about the bullshit the court did today. All of it. It's all bullshit. Fuck them. But anyway, our link, go through it to make us look good for the company because you want that. That is https://bit.ly/L U D Will of the Dice, all one word. That's bit.ly/LUD Will of the Dice. Also thanking our musician who made our lovely theme song for this show, and that is our very own Patrick Taylor. Thanks, Pants!
Thank you, Pants. Right. Greetings, gamers. Are you on Patreon? No, you're not on Patreon. You need to be on Patreon. Come find our Patreon. Roll the dice. Come support us. It helps us put on this fine show and several other fine shows we put on Saturday and Sunday nights. If you get on Patreon, you get in on polls that affect what goes on during the game. You can also get you after the dice, where they talk with the characters and the players after the fuckery that the DM pulls, and find out their true opinions of how things, what happened. So yes, please come on to Patreon, look up Will the Dice, support us. We need all the help we can get. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, and fuck the Supreme Court.
And just one little quick correction: the Discord link, https://bit.ly/capital WOTD Discord. So it's what Discord. The WOTD is capital Discord. The rest of Discord is in lowercase. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So trying to focus so that we can do the show today. Today we're going to be talking about resources for the Dungeon Master. Things that we use, products, online services, some of it's free, some of it's paid, but we're talking about stuff that has helped make our lives better. We are not trying to promote any one individual product over another. We're not getting paid in any way to do this. We're just talking about shit that we like. So, yeah, that being said, the first thing I want to talk about is D&D Beyond. I mean, that has got to be my number 2 go-to for anything D&D.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You've got your characters, the character sheets of your characters right there at your fingertips, your spells, your weapons, all of that. It's absolutely fucking amazing.
It's absolutely essential if you're running an online campaign.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I've heard of others. Foundry and Roll20 are other good services if you're looking for character sheets and keep track of your characters as part of a campaign. Have not played with them much, if at all. I've talked to other DMs, and one DM I talked to swears by Foundry. He loves it, but it's a paid service, if I remember correctly, and he does his thing in there. But other than that, yeah, D&D Beyond, it is phenomenal service, especially for a DM trying to set up a campaign, because I can get the books and I could share them with all my players. My players don't have to buy all the books separately for themselves on D&D Beyond. So that
now we should note on that if you want to share your books with other players, you do have to have a paid subscription to D&D Beyond. But that paid subscription at the lowest level, which is the level that lets you share, is like $3 a month.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but it's worth it. And if you don't have a subscription, you have 6 characters on there. You can do what you need to do. It's
and you can still buy books and things too.
Yep.
So,
look, I'm going to say it like this: I am a stingy motherfucker. I don't like spending money if I don't have to. I love free resources, stuff like that. D&D Beyond is well worth the money, especially if you're a DM running, like Locke said, online campaigns. It is it makes life so much easier. You've got, like I said, you've got all your character sheets right there, so I can go through and look over everybody's character sheets before game to try to remember myself, because sometimes rules get forgotten.
Yep.
You've got your encounter builder, where I can go through and build all my encounters. I can see the level of difficulty it's going to give for my party. I can adjust the party members, so if somebody's going to be out or if we're going to have a special guest, I can add them in. It's awesome. Plus, like Raph said, all of the books that I have purchased, my players have access to, which means that everybody's even across the board. So when we go to create characters, everybody has the same opportunities. It's not somebody doesn't have access to something because they couldn't afford it. Now everybody has access, and it's right there. The character generation, holy shit. 5e, I love 5e, but when I first started trying to figure out how to create a character in 5e was just like trying to solve a fucking ancient riddle. It was just, it's not very user intuitive. D&D Beyond, holy shit! It just everything click, 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 point, click, typity type a couple of numbers. You're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is streamlined. But that's, you see that with a lot of automated systems these days, and that's nice. The old days.
I mean, look.
Go
ahead. I was gonna say, I remember even using a character builder, a computer character builder, building characters for fucking champions back in the late 90s, and you still had to do all the math. Even with the character builder, it did some of the math for you, but like there were things that weren't just there in the program that you had to do the math for. D&D Beyond, I can knock a character out in under 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And have a viable, playable character I can jump into something right then with D&D Beyond. Which means that I have 75 fucking characters, because every time an idea pops in my head, I'm like, I got 10 minutes, I can just put him in the system, and I can come back to this idea later.
Mm-hmm. You don't do that at
Almost
all.
too good.
First hit's free. Yeah.
It's so good, I'm going to give it the hair flip. I can't believe it's not butter. There you go.
I flipped my hair too. Could you tell?
God, it's so sexy when you do that.
Uh-huh. Blind you.
Okay, so I said that was my number 2 go-to. So what is my number 1, you wonder? You ask. Allow me to illuminate you. It is called the 5e Dungeon Master Screen Online. You can find this at CERYLIAE.github.io/5ED MS screen / and that is somebody has gone through and put everything that you will possibly ever need that you would have on your dungeon screen and put it online. You can find out what conditions do what. You can find out how fast is a fucking camel. How long does this last? How much does this cost? Like encounter distances, resting, weather, all of it, foraging, hell. I mean, just to name some things. For a dungeon master, this is my number 1 go-to. Whenever we're playing, whenever I set up, since our games are digital, they're online, I bring up everybody's character sheets so that I can look at them if need be, and then I bring up my dungeon master screen. That is always priority to bring up first before I do anything else. It is free. It is a great resource. I don't know off the top of my head who created it. Let's see if I go to it, if it will say down to the bottom. If you can ever reach the bottom is infinite. But whoever you are that created this, you are a fucking rock god in my life, and I appreciate the fuck out of you.
Let's see, contact. Nope, it does not list really who actually created it. Yeah, because I'll absolutely endorse your endorsement of that. It is when I'm running my stuff online, when I run my Monday night campaigns, it's the one screen I bring up second, the D&D Beyond, when I pull up characters. I have that there. Referencing it is so nice to be able to pull up what I need to know, what's going on. My characters did what? Hold on a second. You want to know how far your light travel? How far the light distance is for a hooded lantern with its hood lowered? It has it. It's 30 feet, by the way. But anyways, yes,
yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing. I've used it. I've only used it a couple of times, but I do enjoy it, and it's great. I don't have any I'm at a disadvantage in this conversation because I don't have that many loyal things that are my go-tos. That one has come up a couple of times as just I need a DM screen, the stuff on the back of a DM screen, and I've typed in and searched, and that one has been one that's come up that I've clicked on and used. So my big tip here is, and I've checked it. It's safe, guys. It's totally safe to do. You're not going to get a bunch of weird kinky shit. You can type Dungeon Master Resources into Google and search for them, and you're not going to get anything but D&D stuff as your first the first page of hits. So don't worry. And there's a great one that I like called dndcompendium.com, dnd-compendium.com. And it is literally that. It is a compendium of other resources. And they have them all listed by category. And this is where I go most of the time. They've got an accessibility and inclusion category, dungeon mastering guides, campaign management tools, creators and lists, encounters, how to DM for kids, setting guides, map artisans, stuff like that. You click on any of these, and it brings up more things. There's even traps and puzzles and riddles all under one tab. So this is a go-to for me when I need something as a DM. I'm going to need one of these. Let me go let's see what they've got in the D&D compendium. And find there's variant character sheets. Okay, they've got this is the DM resources tab on D&D compendium that I'm on. They also have a player guide. They have a community. They have a looking for group. They have a play online where you can join virtual tabletops and things like that. So there's a lot of resources here, but the DM resources are amazing because it's all broken down into categories and you can find it easily.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Power enough to smash ships and crush roofs, yet it still must fear the sun. What is it? Sorry, I went down the riddle one. The riddle. Ooh. Answer's ice, by the way. But so yes, actually, it looks pretty good. I'll have to play around at that website.
Yep, I bookmarked it.
Yep.
And then the one other thing I can contribute wholeheartedly to this conversation is the second thing that comes up when you search Dungeon Master Resources is a Reddit thread called Massive DM's Toolkit Online Resources. And this person, who is, where's their username? Why don't I see their username? This was posted 4 years ago to the r/D&D behind the screen. And it is just it is a list with links to references, DM tips, DM tools, random generators, adventures and adventure guide, character sheets, music and sound, maps and map making tools, encounter options, homebrew stuff, character art, other Reddit threads like the world building thread, one-page dungeons, pre-made homebrew campaign settings, and miscellaneous. So if you can't find it in one of those two things I've just suggested, it probably doesn't exist online because these people have compiled together all of these various resources and put them at your fingertips. So if you're looking for something and you haven't found it, go check these out.
Very cool.
Cool.
I bookmarked them. I will peruse them later.
Yeah, they look significantly cool. It looks like the Reddit one, Massive DM Tool, was posted by Apollo13 about 4 years ago.
Oh, wait, yeah, there it is. I see it now. Yeah, Apollo 13. Not as in Astro, not as in none.
Not.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it looks like you have a fan in chat, Raph.
I might.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name.
Nope. I have no idea. Well, I have an idea who that might be. Don't worry about it. The beatings will continue later.
Okay, so you brought up maps, map making.
Oh, yes.
I've got I got 3 tools that I love, absolutely love. First, Incarnate
Mm-hmm.
for battle maps. You talk about creating some beautiful fucking battle maps.
Yes.
Incarnate is the way to go. You can absolutely positively make some great shit. You all have seen some of the amazing battle maps that Kawaii Tornado has made for us. They used Incarnate. They are a map making master. I'm learning, but they will always be the superior map maker.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've used Incarnate. I've got an account with it now. Yes, it is a wonderful tool to work with. So much easier. I've used a couple different map making programs now. I have used the the campaign cartographer software. It's not an easy set of software to learn. If you're a skilled CAD person, a skilled graphic illustrator, some of it makes sense and is easier to use, but has a lot of resources, but it's very, very heavy and has a high learning curve. But you can produce some really good looking maps with it. But for your average user, I would not suggest it. If you're going to do any type of map work, Incarnate is one I'd suggest. Another one that Tier turned me on to, and I've just started using is Dungeon Alchemy. You can pull that one up off Steam of all places. I just started creating some maps with that. That's a beautiful tool if you can get into it. Unlike other map making setups or battle map makers, you select I'm going to make a castle guard room, and it's going to be 50 by 50, and you just draw your 50 by 50 square, and it populates it randomly using an AI generator with stuff. It puts down suits of armor, stools, tables, chairs, whatever, all over the place. You can then go out and move and edit as you will, but if you need quick, here you go. It gives it its decorations already for the map. And from there, you can go back and tweak, move doors around, whoever. And play with it. I've enjoyed it. It's a really good experience. It has a lot of good assets in it. So yeah, if you get a chance, check it out on Steam. They just published probably about 4 months ago that she came out with it. So it's a
Now,
good resource.
one of the nice things about the Dungeon Alchemist is if you're one of the people that uses a virtual tabletop like Roll20, Foundry, whatever, they have modes to export for your virtual tabletop.
Yes,
So
they do.
you can bring these 3D maps into your virtual tabletop. But going back to Incarnate for a moment, I haven't posted them in a while. I will post them before season 2 starts again. But what turned me on to Incarnate was actually Locke's partner Miv. They did continent maps for Runeth Kesha, and they were so amazing. You know, it just absolutely brilliant maps. Like I want to have them published on canvas and put on my wall.
Yes, I've seen those
Okay.
maps. They're excellent.
Another good map tool I love. You have to create dungeons every now and then. And you can go out and grab the old graph paper and the lead pencil and sit down, or you can hit up Dungeon Map Doodler. It is basically a online graph paper that you can make your dungeon maps in, or you can auto generate. You can go in and set parameters, how large you want the dungeon, how many rooms, how many levels, and it'll auto generate for you. It'll even populate monsters for you. It's really, really cool.
Yep, played with it a little bit. I enjoyed it. Locke, you got something?
I mean, Mev made amazing maps. Mev, like, even before Incarnate, it was a thing when we used to play tabletop in person, pre the back in the in the was befores. We would he would sit with some Bristol board and a pencil and start drawing the map of where we were for the campaign. He always loved doing it, and he was very proud of those maps. And Yeah, he found. I think he played around with a couple of different programs before he found Incarnate and really loved it. But hey, if making maps isn't your thing, those two resources I put out there are some automatic, already made maps that you can just go and crib from, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Also, I wanted to stop and take a moment and point out you did mention Roll20, and I think it is a prerequisite on this channel that whenever anyone mentions Roll20, we mention what a fucking system hog it is. And if you enjoy using it, good for you. But if your system is old or a little bit slow, you start trying to run Roll20 and it is going to get a lot slower. There's some cool features in that program. I really dig their virtual tabletop, the way the lighting system works, so that you only see what, like if you're in a dark room and someone has a torch, you only see what your character would see visible to the torch, which is really fucking cool. But like that thing, it eats a lot of your system. You're going to be running slow using it unless your system is really, really up to date and fast.
Which brings me to my next resource. We're talking about maps. Well, you need a place to put those maps. I bring to you owlbear.rodeo. This is a project by a couple people in Australia. It is basically a virtual tabletop in itself, but it's made specifically for battle maps. It is amazing. It will run on damn near anything. It'll run on a phone, it'll run on a tablet, it'll run on older systems. It's browser based. It is beautiful. You can import your maps. You can import custom tokens for your characters, for spell effects. You'll go out there and find it. You can bring it in.
Yeah. I use Owlbear for my online stuff. And yeah, even Dungeon Alchemy, you can export out the JPEG or the PNG and it imports perfectly into Owlbear. Owlbear is light. It's good for an online. I can run it on your toaster. Let's go play. Especially if you got a lot of people who don't have a lot of resources to work with. Yes, I enjoy Owlbear. It does a lot for us.
And since we're talking about battle maps and that, I'm going to pivot real quick to, if you have battle maps, you need player tokens. And that, I mean, you can use the generic ones, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But maybe you want to have a little bit of character art, and maybe you don't have an artist in your group, or you can't afford to pay an artist to make you character art. There are a couple of easy cheats you can do for this. Cheat number one is go to Hero Forge, which is a company that makes custom miniatures, design your character in Hero Forge, and fucking screenshot it. Take a screenshot. You can take a headshot, you can take a full body shot, whatever, and then you can put that into Owlbear as your token. And it now looks like your character. The other thing you can do, and this one, I love this one because I love going and playing on this one almost as much as I love playing on Hero Forge. But when I play on Hero Forge, because I own a 3D printer, I always want to buy and print what I make on Hero Forge. It's a real thing. Reroll.co. This is it's a little character generator thing. It's 16-bit. It makes you a 16-bit character, and you can fully customize them, and they're awesome. So you can make a little tiny 16-bit version of your character and screenshot it and use it as your token. Yeah, they may even, I'm not sure, by now they might even have a way to export it as a token because it looks like a minifig. So highly recommend reroll.co. They're awesome, especially if you're a nostalgic gamer like me who loves 16-bit games.
Yes, those are cool. So yeah, I enjoy that. Yeah, so what else we got out there that we use for resources? Oh, have an issue with D&D Beyond and just generally the D&D system. How much does a +1 sword cost? You can't find it in the D&D rule set. You can't find it on D&D Beyond. However, I did find a website that has that out there. And it is called
Ooh, I have one of those.
5e Magic Shop. That's
Yes.
5e Magic.shop. It's a wonderful website. I use it a lot for how much do I charge? It gives you a good ballpark for whatever. You can set up a magic shop even, which I don't use it for. I pull up, hey, give me a magic shop that sells stuff from here to here, and I use that to generate my treasure tables for my encounters. Okay, they're gonna get access to this. Here's a couple healing potions, and away you go. Or if, hey, I have money. Your characters have a lot of money. In theory, they have a lot of gold. What they want to do? They want to buy magic. Well, how do they do that? This is an excellent resource to pull up ways for them to spend their money.
And I will also say I've used that before. There's also like you can set an inflation rate. If your world is one where magic is super rare, you can go in and take the base prices and add an inflation rate percentage, and it will jack the prices across the board up for you. It's a really great resource.
Yeah, it's got all sorts. It also has the one I've used before is detect magic ores, calculators. It's got a calculator that does travel times. The travel calculator there is a wonderful resource. You have to go how many miles? All right, it's about 400 miles. How many years is it going to take us? Well, if running 8 hours per day at a normal pace, that's going to take you 20 days.
I don't see the cost for magic items.
So now you're going to go price check. Tools, price check.
Okay, it's under tools.
Yep. And then enter the name of whatever. Sword +1. Or is it +1 sword? Long sword because we're specific. Yep. +1 long sword is 1,020 gold pieces.
Nice.
Yep.
Bookmark that.
Oh yes. I've used the like I said before, I've used the travel calculator a lot because there's a lot of travel in my world. Okay, how fast you're going, how far you're going. It gives you a rough idea of how long your trip's going to take, and whether you play out every single day or hey, 20 days later you arrive at your destination. At least gives you an idea how long it's going to take to make that trip. So that's a wonderful resource. I fully enjoy the 5e Magic Shop.
And also, yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff on there, including as you said that the magic auras tool is pretty handy. If the party kills a wizard, there's a spell book generator that will generate what spells were in that wizard's spell book. Or maybe they just find an old spell book in a dungeon. There's a mercenary cost calculator on that page.
Yep.
And reincarnation tables if you want to make someone randomly roll for reincarnation. And finally, and I think this might be the most important one as a DM, especially if your party, flaunt their adventuring status and get into trouble in town. There's a bounty/reward calculator.
Uh-huh. What?
So
how much for the Alberta Hobo Party?
Yeah. Or maybe they pissed off the BBEG to such an extent that he's like, I'm just going to put a reward on their head. He goes Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back and just hires a bunch of bounty hunters to go after the people that are a thorn in his side.
Yes. Responding to chat, Arignem, available should also be question versus price, which differs depending on region and size of the community of players, blah, blah, blah. I like use the D&D shop catalog here. Yes, I agree. How you set up your world, the availability of magic items, what the regional cost of things should take an effect. But I like the Magic Shop 5e Magic Shop. It gives us a ballpark. Okay, ballpark. It should cost 1,000 gold for a +1 sword. Okay, it's like you said, you got the inflation. It's a very low magic area, not a lot of stuff. Oh, probably 2,000 or 3,000. It's much more reasonable for that area. But at least as a DM, it gives me a ballpark to work from. Okay, that makes sense. I can now give me something to work with, so I don't have to try and build an economy all on my own without having something to reference. So yes, but yeah, I agree. Regional, and that's some of the nice things about the site. It allows you to put those inflation rates in there if you need to. So, right. What else we got?
So there's some written resources that I guess you can also, I guess they're digital as well. You can get them on like Kindle and stuff like that. But there's some books that I recommend. The first one by Michael Ishii, The Lazy Dungeon Master's Guide. This is a great book, especially for newer DMs. One of the biggest mistakes that a DM will make, especially newer ones, is over preparation based on an idea. I want my party to go to this town and do these 3 things, and then these 3 things will happen, and then the party will do these 6 things. No plan survives contact with the players. So this helps you create sessions where you have flexibility to follow the chaos that your players will bring, but still be somewhat prepared and not just suddenly thrown into the tall grass going, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah. I have not. Whoa! What do you mean over prepared? What do you mean players don't go down the dungeon you set up for them? What? What players don't listen to your plan? Come on now. When did that ever happen?
Hey, I got 2 words for you if the players don't follow your plan. Railroad. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. It's bad.
No,
It's bad.
no.
Give your players autonomy.
Yes, it do. But yes,
But
I'd be sarcastic on that.
On the other hand, players, especially if you are playing in a one shot, let yourself be railroaded a little bit. Because for the one shot, the DM has an adventure planned. You have to be willing to go along with that. In a campaign, you can campaign should be more sandboxy. But for a one shot, try and stick to the script. You know what I mean? Like, toss your DM that bone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do as we say, not as we do, because we completely fucked our DM
What?
Sunday night. So
We followed the adventure. We might have jumped a little bit ahead of the gun, but we followed the adventure.
Huh.
Hey,
Poor
you know
Ren.
what? If the DM did not want me to Assassin's Creed kill 3 guards to free those people, 1, there shouldn't have been one who looked like he was about to die, and 2, there should have been more than 3 guards to deter me. I'm just saying.
but no, this book, and there's also a workbook that comes with different templates
I've heard it both ways.
templates that you can use to outline your sessions and everything. And it really helps. It takes the stress off of you trying to prepare for a session and helps you create fun, viable sessions without getting into the over preparing and then being stuck, not knowing what to do when everything goes silent.
Speaking of books, you can find it coming out soon as the Extreme Dungeon Mastery 2nd edition by Howard Taylor. It's tips, tricks, everything for a new DM, experienced DMs, whatnot, on how to run, how they run campaigns, and how they set up their worlds, how to run encounters, all with lovely, lovely annotated cartoons to go with it. It's out there somewhere. It just got out of Kickstarter and is being shipped out as we speak. I have a copy coming, so at some point we may have to review that. But if you can find the first edition, it's still out there. This is put together by Howard Taylor and Tracy Hickman of Dragonlance fame.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you're gonna buy your DM a copy, right?
I'll see what I can do.
Okay, another good book. This is one of my favorite books. It's called The Monsters Know What They Are Doing. So many times in combat, every monster acts exactly the same. Slash, 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 kill, 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 die, die, die. There's no versatility and everything. Look, these are creatures. I'm going to take kobolds, for example. Kobolds are creatures that have survived in the harsh wilderness in their packs. You know, they are fierce warriors and scavengers. They are not just little dragon dogs to be kicked around. But you have to fight with them using tactics they would use. Well, this book goes through and outlines the different tactics that different critters would use.
Cool.
That is very cool.
That's written by Keith Amon.
Keith Amon.
Yep. And it is available on Amazon, Kindle, and audiobook. Cool.
I'd like to point out dicecove.com/DND-5e-campaigns. They have 18 free D&D campaign PDFs that you can go and download. They've got some Adventures League stuff on there. The Adventures part of the Tyranny of Dragons storyline for Adventures League. There's 5 of those. They've got some seasonal adventures. They've got some stuff in Wildmount from Critical Role. They've got some of the bonus adventures. I just like the names of that they've got on here. Elf Hunt. That sounds fun. Granny's Country Apple Pie. I don't know what that's about, but I kind of want to play it. The Barber of Silvery Moon.
Ooh.
The Gribbets Detective Agency. And they've got an adventure called The Hangover. So, like, and I know I don't have the Reddit pulled up currently, but I know there's a couple of good Reddits out there where people have written adventures that you can just go and you can run the adventure straight off the Reddit thread, complete with maps and everything. So, there are resources out there. If you don't want to write an adventure, if you're not, there are plenty of pre-made stuff out there that you as a DM, even if it's not, say you're running a full campaign. I've done this before. I went and found a dungeon pre-made. I needed an underwater temple. I was running a D&D 5e skinned to be the Pirates of Darkwater cartoon from the 90s. And I had written a full storyline, but part of the storyline involved them dungeon crawling through an old temple that was flooded. And I went and I found a flooded temple adventure on Reddit with maps, and it had what was in each room. I went and changed a couple of the monsters to make it better fit what I was going for and what the party was, their level and stuff. I built and then I built those encounters in D&D Beyond, and I ran it straight from the Reddit thread.
Cool.
As a dungeon crawl.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take our break. My back is fucking with me bad today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be back in 12 minutes.
Top of the hour. Perfect.
So hang out, guys, while we take our break, get our snickety snacks, our beverages of choice, while I stretch my back for a few minutes. And we'll be back. we took our snickety snacks, got our break and all that. Once again, I just want to say, fuck the Supreme Court.
Fuck
So-
them.
For those of you who don't know, today they overturned Roe versus Wade, and they also overturned Miranda rights. So, yay for our country taking a step backwards towards the Dark Ages. That yay was sarcastic for those that you couldn't tell. Alrighty, so we're talking about DM resources, and Locke, you had brought up where you can go and find pre-written campaigns. There's 2 websites out there where you can find pre-written campaigns, subclasses, generated stuff, weapons, all kinds of cool shit. One is called Drive-Through RPG, and the other is called the DM's Guild. Both of these price ranges, depending on the resource, from free to pay what you want to whatever the price is. But there is some great fucking resources out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got the wild magic chart I used. I got it there, and then I modified it to my taste to add raining squirrels. So,
Rain of squirrels. Speaking of resources for that, one other website out there I've used before is 2 Minute Tabletop. Basically, you can do tokens, you can do adventures, maps. It has it all kind of put together there, exportables for Roll20. So that's another website if you want to look at and help build up your encounter set and your map set. And then speaking of adventures and dungeons, I'm going to kick back to the old Dungeon Magazine. It is available for free out there. For those the younger gamers who don't remember what Dungeon Magazine was, it was a magazine specifically designed for adventures. Here's modules, here's one-shots, here's campaigns, all put out by TSR originally as an actual magazine for many, many years. It is now available for free off archive.org. The Internet Archive, they're trying to archive the internet. So good luck with that one. But you can find the entire run of it all out there for free on https archive.org. Look up Dungeon Magazine. It's there. It's a wonderful tool for a lot of ideas for campaigns and adventures.
okay, I gotta say something here. Every time you say they're trying to archive the internet, I think of that insurance commercial where the guy's like, "You don't have to print the internet," and I don't know why, but that's what comes to mind.
That's what their goal is. So,
Speaking of items and subclasses and all of that, jumping back to the first resource we talked about, D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond has an entire section for homebrewing stuff into D&D Beyond. And lots of people have homebrewed things and made them shareable through that system. So if you can't find the thing that you need, go there and search for it. And the odds are pretty good. You're going to find 3 or 4 different versions of it already made by somebody else. And if none of those work, you can crib that and tweak it and make your own homebrewed item right there in D&D Beyond. And it's a great resource. I talked about earlier how I was reskinning for a campaign. I reskinned D&D 5e to be the Pirates of Darkwater cartoon from the 90s for some players, and we played in that for a while. One of the things in that cartoon, and it only showed up, like, it was only used in, I think, 1 or 2 episodes, but it was one of the things, like, that you saw in the background someone carrying or whatnot. It was basically a glass bottle with a lizard inside it, mounted to a pistol grip, and when you pulled the trigger, it yanked on the lizard's tail, and the lizard emitted a gas from its mouth that would put people to sleep. And I homebrewed the lizard sleep gun. It's basically a close range single target sleep spell that works by pulling the trigger on a weapon. So
that poor lizard.
Yeah, very very Flintstones. But it was like, if you remember the Pirates of Darkwater cartoon, there was a bar that they frequented in Jondatown, um, where you weren't allowed to bring your weapons in. You had to check your weapons at the door. And every once in a while, someone would go into the room with all the weapons in it, and a lot of stuff got left behind because people got thrown out or whatever. And you'd see them like digging through, and that gun was one of the things that always popped up in those scenes because it was something they had drawn and they just kept reusing. But yeah, it's so yeah, you can make anything, or if you don't want to make it, you can probably find it already made in D&D Beyond. For example, the subclass that I'm playing in one of the season 2 games was written by Keith Baker, who is the guy who created Eberron. It was written for Eberron, but it was not published officially in D&D Beyond. It was published through a third party, yet it has been homebrewed into D&D Beyond and exists there. Several different people have copy and pasted that subclass directly over from the book it was written in into D&D Beyond, so it exists.
And I gotta say, the only reason I'm allowing it is because it was created by Keith Baker.
It was created by the guy who wrote the world. Yeah. Hey, wait. Can I cast tangent for a second? Because I love the story of Eberron, and if you don't know it, you really should. Keith Baker. So D&D decided at some point in the early aughts that they were going to that they wanted to hold a contest for someone to create a new world that would be an official campaign setting for D&D. This was 3.5 was the system at the time. They had Greyhawk, they had Forgotten Realms, and I think they had put out Dark Sun, but I'm not sure. But they didn't have, and they weren't revisiting Dragonlance or some of the other campaign settings they'd had in the past. They wanted something new and different for a campaign setting. Keith Baker was working on a video game. It was a steampunk inspired high magic video game setting. And the game was nearly complete, but all of his financial backing had pulled out. And so this contest comes along, and Keith Baker decided to take the world he had made for this video game, tweak it to be D&D, and submit it to the contest, and he won. And upon winning and getting Eberron to be an official D&D campaign setting, he then looked at Wizards of the Coast and went, "Oh, by the way, I have this MMORPG that's 90% finished that's set in this world. And with some changes, we could switch the stat system and whatnot to D&D and publish it." And that's how we got Dungeons and Dragons Online, which was set in Eberron. That's why it was set in Eberron, because Eberron was created to be an MMORPG originally.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a very cool story. And, good on Keith Baker. He's a hell of a game designer. If you haven't played the card game, one of the card games he designed Gloom, which is a fun card game. Really,
It's
really
enjoyable.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of alternate resources, have either of you used Foundry?
I have not.
All right. Neither have I. It's been recommended.
Not.
It's been recommended to me before. So DMs out there, it's something to go check out. See if it's to your taste. A lot of DMs I spoke to have spoken highly of it, so it's a good thing. And also in chat, someone brought up the on Steam also. Steam also has Tailspire. That's Tlespire. It looks to be a fully 3D rendered game table for you to set up your dungeons, set up your encounters, make it look shiny and pretty, move your tokens around, even roll your attacks and dice and damage. So looks like a lot of work though. But if you're into that, I'd say check it out. Check out Steam. You got some good products out there in that you should probably look at, see if that works out for you and your table.
So Rudolph Novo says that they've used Foundry it's nice, but can get resource heavy on your PC.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, Kawhi's in the audience. Hi, Kawhi.
Hello,
Hi,
Kawhi.
Kawhi.
They're making maps. How am I not surprised?
Beautiful, beautiful maps. So, all right. So, what else we got? What does the audience got? We have the best audience in the world. So, what have you used? Anything out in the audience that people have used that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, what resources out there that are your go-to for dungeon mastering? Or you know what, you can comment on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Ask any kind of questions you want. We're open. We like getting off on tangents here.
What?
This is a little unorthodox as a DM tool, but it's something I draw inspiration from very often. There are a couple of YouTube channels that I find that I have as go-tos that really like they break things down. They do videos on like ranking the subclasses for specific classes in D&D 5e, or looking at one specific rule set or whatever. Taking 20 is one of those. I very much enjoy their content and have often found cool inspiration watching them build characters or whatever. And then the other one is the Dungeon Dudes. They put out, they're the ones who rank the subclasses and do a really great job kind of taking all of the factors into consideration to rank subclasses and tell you how they stack up against one another. And like they take into consideration, one of the things I think is really important is this subclass is really good if you're in the right campaign setting. Otherwise, you might find it frustrating if you are, say, geared to be a super badass when fighting undead, but the campaign you're playing in, you never see an undead to fight. You're going to feel like you were let down by that subclass. So it's a really good thing to look at, and maybe, as a DM, knowing what your campaign is going to look like and looking at what subclasses your characters are picking and being able to go, that's a cool subclass, but it might not fit this campaign. You might want to think about this one or that one if you want to play that class. And that's a little over. It's not a straight DM resource, but it is a resource you can pull from.
So another video resource Rudolph Movo mentions, and I know, Locke, you have sent me videos from time to time, is TikTok. Rudolph
Yes.
Movo says that there's a lot of people that are making videos on how to use Foundry or new DM websites they're found, or general advice. And so, yeah, that's another one. And I like TikTok because it's short. I need short videos. I can't sit through long videos. I don't have the patience.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather read, but if I have to watch a video, I want it to be short. And that's one of the things I like about TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Kawhi hit on something that I got yelled at, and the reason I got handed some mapping software is because I used to make my maps in basic Excel. If you got nothing else, you just have MS Office or an Office product, a basic spreadsheet program like Excel, you can still do wonderful map work in it. You set up your grids; it works well for that. I'm just it's nice to see support, because my players yelled at me because I use Excel for my initial maps.
So going back to Foundry, and sorry, welcome. Let me get this out.
No, go ahead.
Rudolph Movo says that everything that Roll20 does behind the scenes on their servers, Foundry does on your PC. So it can get resource intensive. So that's something to keep in mind. I've never used it, so I'm going by what other parties are saying. I've never played with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was going to say about TikTok that there are, being on D&D TikTok, I see a lot of I see a lot of DMs posting like, here's an idea that occurred to me that could be the jumping off point for an entire campaign. Let me know how it goes if you decide to use it. And they'll throw out an idea. Or there's a guy, and I can't think of his name. I'm sorry. I know he's got a YouTube channel as well where he compiles some of his videos. He's got an entire series called "Stupid Things You Can Do in D&D," and he's up to like part 60 something or more at this point. He's the one who came up with the peasant railgun, which is one of my favorite things in D&D ever. You hire 1,000 peasants, and then you give the one at the back of the line, you line them up in a straight line, and you give the one at the back of the line a spear. And on their action, they hold until you say go, and then they use their action to hand the spear forward. And each one of those 1,000 peasants hands the spear forward to the next guy, to the next guy, to the next guy, and then the last guy lets go. And that spear has now moved 5,000 feet, because each person occupies a 5-foot square, in 6 seconds, and now has that velocity.
Wouldn't work.
Won't allow it.
No, it wouldn't work because everything's happening at the same time. So anyway, I'm not going to get into that because that's a tangent I don't want to go down.
Nice try, Locke.
That's a deep tangent. I did not come up with this. I just saw a video about it. He also came up with the rope trick cheat, which is awesome. If you have a familiar and you have rope trick, or a flying companion, you have to have a flying companion. You use rope trick. Rope trick creates an extra dimensional space at the top of the rope that you can go up into. If you're an archer and you've got a flying companion, you cast rope trick, you climb the rope, you get into the extra dimensional space, and then on your turn, you move down the rope, fire, move back up the rope, and then your companion on their action brings the rope up so no one can get to you. Object interaction, drop the rope, hang down, fire, climb back up, companion brings the rope back up, and or if you're a mage, you're dropping fireballs and magic missiles from up there. Just
my question is how are you going to fire holding onto the rope?
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, but you can just lean out. I mean,
just lean out.
Enclosed space, enclosed extraterrestrial space, fireball, enclosed space. What? Anyways,
no, you lean out and you fireball. No, fireball is a small mote that travels to a point you designate and then explodes. So as long as you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Another one, TikTok is Dungeon Master Therapy. If you haven't watched this dude, it is hysterical.
I have watched them.
Yes, they are fun, but they have some really out there ideas that are kind of fun too. So,
yeah, no, there's lots of good ideas. I've got several of them, liked so that I can go back and find them again. Of the just starting campaign ideas. Hey, you remember that sad story I told about the stick that always comes back? That made everybody sad?
Yeah, you're a jerk.
I got that from TikTok.
Yes.
Same guy also posted a thing about the marbles that when you get them all back together, make one angry fucking wizard.
Ref, audiences want to know who.
I think it was Brandon the DM. Rudolph Movio posted it. Is the one I think that does the Dungeon Master Therapy. I'm not on TikTok often, but every now and then people send me links to it because my players enjoy my pain.
My players try to hide stuff from me.
What? No, we don't.
They hide memes. They hide memes and stuff, thinking that I won't see them. But I'm on a lot of Facebook groups.
Sometimes you just have to share a meme without the DM seeing it because you know that you don't want to be the one responsible for giving him that idea. I will die on this hill. If you find it on your own, that is one thing. Me handing that to you on a platter is very different.
Yeah, because the rest of the players will lynch you. Don't give him that idea.
Right. I'm protecting myself from the other players. I'm not trying to shortchange you.
Yes, banana fish.
Do.
Uh-huh.
So, for those of you that missed the episode, Locke randomly, for no reason, just said the word banana fish. And then it turned into a whole thing. So I had to make it into a creature.
It
And-
wasn't for no reason. It was for a reason. I needed an example of something, and I wanted to convey that what it was didn't matter, and so I pulled two random words together as a thing that doesn't matter, and then you decided to run with it and make it a monster. This is not my fault.
Oh, it is totally your fault.
It's not my fault.
Is so. We'll put that in the hashtags. Right next to pants was robbed.
Pants was not wrong.
Pants was robbed.
Rudolph Modo, Conjure Animals doesn't specify the animals have to appear on the ground, so summon 8 cows 60 feet in the air and let gravity do the work. That would have worked, except for they got rid of the fall. They nerfed the fall damage. It's 1d6 for 10 feet, so 66 is all you're getting on that. And we do have a blame Locke hashtag now. Awesome.
Sweet.
Hey, look. That's fine. I'll take that blame. I don't care. I would argue about that though. The fall damage from the cows. The cows are going to take 1d6 per 10 feet, but the weight of a cow landing on someone from a height is going to be more than 1d6 because that is, what you're saying by using that, by using fall damage and applying it to the person under the cow that is falling, is that if I drop an anvil on you, you only take fall damage.
There's no
From the
mechanic
anvil.
for weight damage.
There isn't. There should be, but there isn't.
There should be. So until they do, I calculate it as fall damage. That's all I can do.
Okay,
I could homebrew it, but
yeah.
I mean, I will do that. Just remember that it goes both ways.
No, I'm fine with you not homebrewing it if you want to say that, if we're crawling through a tunnel and the mountain collapses on us, that we take 3 feet of fall damage because that's how high the ceiling was above our head from all the rocks that fall. I'm fine with that. Just, the bad guys drop an anvil on my head. I expect to survive that. Now, under those rules.
I'm looking up. There's no ram damage, 5e charge damage.
Charge implies intent.
I will do some research, and before campaign 2 starts, I will have a official ruling on item falling damage.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there's, what are the various rulings for, ramming or charging, and I can see that maybe applying that ruling to a falling cow. You've been charged or rammed by a cow from 60 feet away.
Kawhi says don't apply logic to D&D. Most times I don't. Sometimes you got to, though, or your players do stuff that you just can't allow. So, not that my players would ever do anything like that.
Hashtag blame Locke. So, right. What else we got in the chat? Anyone else got any other ideas? What other resources are out there that people use? Let's wait for the 20-second delay. Crickets. Swarm of crickets.
So I typed in just because the question into Google, 5e dropping an anvil.
Oh God.
And I found a Reddit thread. There wasn't much helpful in there, but someone did suggest that a falling anvil should do the same damage as a boulder thrown by a giant, which is 4d10 bludgeoning.
There you go. Sly Flourish damage calculator and mob rules. I have not looked at those. I will have to look at those. I'm familiar with Sly Flourish. Links are disabled. Too many bots coming in trying to sell views and stuff, so I disabled links. But I will go and Google that and check it out. That sounds interesting. Oh yeah, you can whisper it to Lolly and they can post it.
Let's
I
see.
forgot about that.
Mob damage and calculated for 5e Dungeons and Dragons. Target character armor class. Number of attacking creatures, attack bonus. Let's see. Armor class 15. Let's go 8 cows. They get a +1 to it. And they do what? A D6.
Okay, here's an interesting system. I like this answer. This is
okay.
This is on Quora, which is sort of the new Wiki Answers alternative since Wiki Answers went away, or Yahoo Answers went away rather. What are the rules for falling objects doing damage in D&D 5e? This person says, technically there aren't any as far as I know, which means it's up to the DM. I have a system I use for falling object damage in my games. The rules I use for falling damage, for falling object damage is a twist on the rules for PCs taking damage from a fall. You take 1d6 for every 10 feet you fall. So a falling object does 1d whatever for every 10 feet it falls before hitting the player. The way I decide which dice is used is based on what the object is. Something small like a rock gets a D4. Something large like an anvil gets a D12. Then I do one of whatever that die type is per 10 feet. That's actually a really good system. I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think an anvil would be a D20 though.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
okay,
unless it's
I would accept that.
Unless it's Acme, that's rubber. But anyways,
if it's an Acme anvil, then you take the damage, your head turns flat, and a single lump forms out that rises about 4 feet in the air that you have to pound back in.
Yep. Speaking back to Sly Flourish's mob calculator, damage calculator. Basically, played with it real quick here. It's for, hey, I got 20 guys coming at you, and they're going to attack these 15 guys over here. You plug in 20 guys, their armor class is what they're attacking, and it gives you how many monsters hit for how much damage. Right there, no dice rolled. It does it all calculations, does the random generation in the back. It gives you quick, easy answers for large scale attacks. That's not bad. So that's actually a pretty good resource, especially running larger battles.
I could very much, yeah, I could see that, especially like I liked the system that Tyr used at the end of DQSR because we were involved directly in that battle. But if you took us out of that battle, if that battle were happening and we were doing something else, and how that battle is going is important to what we're doing, you could just use that calculator each round to determine, what, and you can even do that beforehand. Unless something we're doing is going to affect the battle, you could run that battle beforehand and each round give a report. this force is pushing through, this one is pushing, yeah, blah blah blah.
Yep.
I think that would be a good thing. That's situationally very useful.
Yes. Oh, Sly Flourish did the Lazy DM's Companion, Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master, the Lazy DM's Workbook.
All right. Is Sly Flourish? I thought it was Keith Shea. Okay, so my mistake.
Nope. Keith Michael Shea is at the bottom too. Sly Flourishes. That must be a pseudonym he uses.
Okay. All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap it for today. I'm in a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get horizontal before I have to go to work. Once more, I just want to say fuck the Supreme Court. Very, very disappointed in the Supreme Court of the United States right now. They have failed this country. Remember to get out and vote. Get out, make your voice heard. Remember that the government works for us, not controls us. All right. So, with that being said, I know things are dark right now, but love and hope still exist. Find people that love you and bask in their love until you're strong enough to let others bask in yours. Remember that love and inclusion are the torches that light a path to a better tomorrow. So come join us and be torchbearers. And now let's remind everybody who we are, where they can find us, and let's get out of here.
All right, gamers, I am Raph the Mad. I am been one of your DMs for today, and I can be found on Twitter at BOKDragon13000.
Hi gamers, I'm still Locke Clark, and you can find me on the Book of Faces and the Twitter Patients at Locke Unruly. That's Locke with an H.
And I'm Tier the DM, the world's okayest DM, and you can find me on Twitter at Tier_the_DM. And we'll see you next time. Remember, if someone doesn't know, don't cast aspersions, cast guidance.